guys, welcome back here to today's edition of the Fishing Teacher. Appreciate you guys swinging by the channel a little bit. And guys, today I have got the ultimate limit getter. As far as this spring, if you want to go out and catch a limit of bass, I got something that'll catch you a limit of bass. Probably better than about anything you can throw. I've been using this thing since the mid 1980s. And every time that you get, late March, from about late March into early May, this is one of my best ways to catch a bunch of fish, a bunch of keeper fish that a lot of people just sort of forgotten about. So we're going to get into that in today's video here. Also, guys, a couple quick things. Just a quick reminder, we do have my spring Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns up on the fishthemoment.com website. If you're looking for places to go fishing on your favorite lake this spring, those breakdowns that I build for Fish the Moment are a great resource to do that. I'll have that link in the description. And also, guys, getting ready for spring, Solar Bat has got that big get ready for spring fishing sale on my Signature Series glasses. Right now you can get my RB2s, which are these, or the RB3s, which is a light matte gray frame, 30% off. I'd recommend, if you get one pair, get the high contrast yellow lens. This is my favorite here. Bright sunny, I'll use the mossback green, but I'll have that link in the description. I really appreciate that. Okay, guys, this is I'm gonna show you what it is, and we're gonna get into the details on it. This is a 4-inch zoom dead ringer, or just a ringworm, basically just on a Ned head. You can see it there. I just got a Ned rig head, open hook, just like you would with a Ned rig, except it's got the 4-inch dead ringer on it. I have been using this jig head ringworm since the mid 1980s, especially here in the Ozarks. And there's something about it. It's like when that water temperature starts to get in the upper 50s and you get pretty close to the fish wanting to spawn, from about that period up until about first or second week of May, guys, this thing is freaking deadly. You'll get just as many or more bites on it than you will a Ned rig or a shaky head or anything. It's really diminutive. It's small. I'll put this Zoom dead ringer link and my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video if you guys would like to get a pack, and also put the Ned rig link in there. But guys, freaking deadly. This is probably my favorite color right here, just some type of a green pumpkin. Got a little watermelon, or excuse me, a little chartreuse tail on it. I've caught tons of bass on this. This is also a really good bait if you have a mixed species lake. Say you got some mix of spotted bass, largemouth, and smallmouth. Spotted bass love this thing. If you're in a spotted bass lake, like Lake Norman in North Carolina, or here in the Ozarks, or Lake Lanier, Georgia, or some of the Northern California lakes, you try that thing right there, guys, and see how many spotted bass you catch. And it's sort of this thing has sort of like fell by the wayside because everybody now uses the shaky heads and the Ned rigs and the drop shots and all that stuff, but they don't just put just an old ringworm on there. One of the first times I saw how effective this was is the second Bassmaster tournament that I ever fished in my life was down at Sam Rayburn, Texas, the Bassmaster Invitational. And the first day of the tournament, I drew Tommy Martin, who was a guide on Sam Rayburn Lake. I'd never been there before. Bassmaster Classic winner Tommy Martin, and he eventually finished second in the tournament. He almost won it, but he took me out there, guys, and this is what he caught this fish on at Rayburn. This was a late March tournament, and he was fishing this little jig head ringworm there at Sam Rayburn, catching hogs on it, and I started using it after that back here in Missouri, and it's just freaking awesome for that. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about how you want to fish it and the areas and how you want it set up. Obviously, you want to throw this on a spinning rod. I usually like to use like a 1/16 of an ounce head, maybe a little bit heavier if the wind's blowing or if I'm fishing deeper, but you want that 1/16 of an ounce head for a slow fall. 6-pound test, Seaguar and Vizex fluorocarbon line, and just throw it out there, guys, and just work it like a shaky head. Let it hit the bottom, just shake it up and pull it a little bit like that. Shake it 2 or 3 times with your rod tip and pull it. And since it has an exposed hook on it, you don't even hardly have to set the hook to hook them. You just basically start reeling when you find one. But it's a really diminutive profile bait. I mean, this thing stays right on the bottom like that. It's just old school. This type of a presentation is never going to go out of style. Bass will bite this thing forever because it's diminutive, it's quiet, it doesn't telegraph itself, the fish don't see it a lot. And just try it, guys. It's like, if you've never tried this thing and you got a lake that has water visibility of at least 3 foot, I prefer a little bit greater. If you gave me a perfect scenario, I'd have 4 or 5 foot of clarity. But this spring, let me lay you out the perfect scenario for trying this thing. Get you a couple bags. Like I said, I'll put the link in my Tackle Warehouse link. Some of the Ned heads, put it on 6-pound test line. Get out there on a lake that you fish that has to have at least 3 foot of visibility. 4, 5, or 6 is even better. And start fishing secondary points, in the coves and in the creeks with it. Just get out there and just target that 5 to 20 foot zone. If the water is really clear, like 5 or 6 or 7 foot of clarity, fish it down to 20 to 25 feet. If it's a little bit more off colored, like you got 3 foot of visibility, usually 10 foot and a depth 10 foot or less is going to be good. Now, that's going to be good during the pre-spawn period, when that water, up until when the water gets about 60. Once the water gets about 60, move into the spawning coves where those fish are spawning and throw this thing outside of the spawning bed. So let's say, for example, you're back in a cove and you can see some beds on the bank where some fish are spawning. Cast out in deeper water away from there, like in 10 to 15 foot of water. And a lot of times those bigger females will be hanging out there deeper, and they'll bite this thing like crazy into those situations. And then during the early post-spawn, after those same fish have spawned, move back out there to those secondary points, because those fish will return to those secondary points. And this is a great way to catch them there. But like I said, just experiment with your colors, guys. I've caught them on a lot of different colors. I mean, in some of the dirty water conditions, like a blackened chartreuse has been really good for me. I like June bug here. June bug's really good. I've caught a bunch of fish on June bug. So you really just match up the colors. Zoom has quite a few colors of this, as you can see when you check it out in that link. Just get you a few bags of them and give it a try. So anyway, guys, I know it will get you bit. If you're catching bass on a Ned rig or shaky head, just take some time and try this little, jig head ringworm and just see how it compares to that. I think you'll be surprised. So hope it helps out. We'll talk later.